Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're taking a look at an extraordinarily festive release, Tinsel on the Tracks. So, this was put out onto digital platforms on October 4 of 2016 and was put out onto DVD on October 18th, and then it was released in Walmart on November 1st, and then it was re-released on October 16th of 2018 without the slipcover. So, yeah. This release is actually kind of rare. I haven't really found it in many stores. I found mine, I'll tell you this now, I found it in a store known as Once Upon a Child. It's kind of like a secondhand child, like baby shop, but they have a really good selection of like toys and such. They don't have as many DVDs as they used to, but I found this, oh man, back in 2021, I believe, right around the holiday season, around that. I don't remember exactly, but I found it new with the slipcover, and I was extraordinarily happy because this release is really, really cool, and you gotta have the slipcover with it. But yeah, let's take a look here. So the poster art is really, really cool. It just feels so warm and Christmassy. I love it. So we got the Thomas logo, Tinsel on the Tracks. This title kind of confuses me. I don't know what Tinsel on the Tracks means. Like, I know what tinsel means, but the title is just kind of weird to me. Like, Tinsel on the Tracks? Okay. We got Harold up there. I think that's a sack of mail with some letters flying out of it. That's not good. They're not going to get to the North Pole. We got Thomas and Percy and James and a snowman and two boys. Is that a girl or a boy? I think that's a boy. Building a snowman. And there's a Christmas tree. Yeah, really, really cool. There's some letters to Santa flying across the front here. It's cool. Yeah, and it's embossed. So here's the side. Pretty cool. This is actually the very last episodic Thomas DVD in the US to have a slipcover, not counting All Engines Go, which those releases do have slipcovers, if I'm not mistaken. At the top there, above the barcode, delivering holly jolly fun. Got the Thomas logo up there again. There's your description. We got, I think these are all screenshots from Letters to Santa. I'm not sure about this one. It might be from the Christmas coffee pot, and it might be from Letters to Santa. I don't know. But there is Glenn right there with some lights on him. Bonus features Glenn's Christmas Wish sing-along music video and Guess Who puzzles. And there is all your stuff down there. And I will slide this out for you. Put it on the stand here because why not? Yep, here is the case. It's pretty much exactly the same. Oh, that was pretty loud. Although, this has been changed a little bit at the time. And I think the screenshots are a little bit smaller. A little bit. Not that much, though. Yep, let's open her up here. Now, this is a very pivotal moment in Thomas and Friends DVD history. This is the first release to not have any artwork on the disc, not counting reprints. This is a thing with all of Universal's DVDs, if I'm not mistaken, not just the Thomas ones, but what they do with these DVDs, or with this DVD on, is they just take out the art on the disc and they just replace it with one solid color. I'm not a fan of this because it's extraordinarily lazy and boring. They do actually, for some reason, keep it on Extraordinary Engines, but after that, nah. So, this is red, and it is festive. I wish this was green or something, but, yeah. It's whatever. And the disc is really, really cheap. I don't like it. Okay. So, we'll put the slipcover back on, and we'll take a look at the contents. So the episodes are actually really, really good. We got Letters to Santa, The Christmas Coffee Pot, The Rail Car and the Coaches, Over the Hill, and Love Me Tender. And then the bonus features, we have Really Useful Engines, Samson and Scruff, the Earl's Quiz, where he quizzes us on Marion and the Dinosaurs, different numbers of the engines, and Duck in the Water. We have Landmarks of Sodor, they highlight Brendam Docks, and then we have Sir Topham Hatt's Tales. He talks about Samson, and he mentions the events of Samson at Your Service. Okay, so let's go through the episodes here, because we got a lot to talk about. I don't really have like multiple points for these. I just have like one solid paragraph. But yeah, these episodes, wow, these are some of the best Christmas episodes of the entire series. I'd say they probably are the best. They're, wow, Letters of Santa. We'll start off with that. First of all, the Percy and Harold dynamic is extremely underrated and is handled perfectly here. We never really got to see that in the eras before this, and if we did, they were just like, hi Percy, hi Harold, accident, okay. But yeah, really cool here. They both feel like themselves from the Railway series, so I like that a lot. I absolutely freaking love that flashback. The shots are almost identical to the illustrations from the Railway series, which is a great little attention to detail. So yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. This is a fantastic episode. I used to kind of disregard this one, but as I've gotten older, I've come full circle now. This is fantastic, heartfelt, exciting. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think it's a little slow at points, but everything else is really, really well done. All right, the Christmas coffee pot. Another great, well, it's not as great as the last one, but it's a very fun episode. I'm really glad that they didn't forget about Glenn, and using Marion to reintroduce him was a very, very great choice. My only gripe, and this is a pretty common criticism, but it feels like two stories mashed into one, but I understand why they did it, or why they didn't do it on their own, excuse me. They probably wouldn't reach 8 minutes and 45 seconds if these two stories were two separate episodes, so I understand it there. I also found many similarities between this and Hero of the Rails, where Thomas and Percy are trying to restore an old engine in secret. However, this episode, it really shows how boring and dragged out that movie can be. I don't think it's a terrible episode, or a terrible movie, but it gets really, really boring. And Sir Topham Hatt finds out what's happening, like, right away in this episode. But other than that, it's a great episode. 8 out of 10. Oh boy. We have 3 fantastic episodes in a row here. These are all 10 out of 10s, I think. Well, these 3. So we got the rail car and the coaches. This episode is spectacular. One of the absolute best from the entire series. The character dynamics are on point, and the writing is extraordinarily tight and feels very realistic and natural. Daisy is probably the most in-line returning character, with her like old personality and such. Her updated render also looks so much better than her model, and her voice, probably one of the best casting choices the show ever made. I do think, in terms of like the season this came out, and I think I'm going to rant about season 20 in the episode release dates later on in this series, but I don't really like how these characters were introduced or reintroduced in Lost Treasure, which is in 2015, and this is coming out a year later, so parents and kids are going to be so confused if they haven't watched the old series, but whatever. It's their fault. They didn't watch Lost Treasure. I'm just kidding. But yeah, this episode also does a very great job at fleshing out Annie and Clarabelle. They have had prominent roles in the past, but here they're written so well, and really every time they're in the lead, they are written very well. I just love how they torment Daisy. They're just like, oh, yes, you don't like us, so we're going to say that we wish you were dead. Or something like that. But yeah, everything about this episode is amazing, whether it be the writing, the character dynamics, and the characters themselves, or that absolutely hilarious ending. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen this episode, but the ending of the story is, wow. It's pretty great. A solid 10 out of 10 story. Wow, it's something else. Alrighty, Over the Hill, another spectacular episode. Stephen and Glenn make an amazing duo, and I'm so glad that the show didn't miss the opportunity to pair them up, because that's something that I can totally see Mattel missing out on. Excuse me for a moment. I'm just going to zoom into my Google Doc here. There we go. The comedy is what drives this story. Yeah, it's not really realistic for two engines to go this speed on the main line, but The story and the banter, especially between the characters, is so entertaining and charming. I love the Eye of the Tiger, music cue at the start of the race, which really does become a problem later on in the show, especially later this season in season 21. I love Steven's savage lines to Gordon, and I really, really like how we get to see a new side of Steven. If the Christmas coffee pot was like Here Are the Rails, this is very similar to Toy Story, in the sense that a new thing comes in and takes the attention of the owner, making the old thing fear they'll be replaced but end up being friends. I also really like the title. Kind of a strange thing, but over the hill, that expression means that you're basically past your prime age, which Stephen and Glenn both are, and they literally go over Gordon's Hill. Not growing up, but back in like 2016 when this came out, I was like, Over the Hill? It's just named after that one scene where they go over the hill, but no. Yeah, very clever pun. The only thing that I'd like to mention that I kind of have an issue with, it's not really with this episode, it's more so the feature of the series, but it's the concept of the railway museum. I don't know if this was ever the plan or not, but the Earl says that he's opening up a railway museum at the end of the episode. Maybe he was setting up a new special and or season? I mean, they introduced Hugo, so possibly. I have a feeling, though, it was kind of like reworked into Marvelous Machinery, which is an absolute shit show. The show was originally going to end after the season, so maybe at one point they're planning on ending it with this special or something. I don't know. But I actually have a really, really cool idea of what they could have done. So throughout the movie, I'm just going to say there's like a normal hour-long movie that came after this season. So throughout the movie, they could introduce more real-life engines like Mallard, Green Arrow, Duchess of Hamilton, the ones that were in like Thomas and the Great Railway Show or something. I don't know, something like that. But at one point, Sir Robert Norby hears word about Duke, and he, along with Reverend Audrey and Teddy Boston, set out to find him. And when they do, they bring him to the castle to do essentially what Stephen and Glenn do. I highly doubt that's what they were going to do, but I would have died to see that. Anyways, great episode. 10 out of 10. Okay. And then we got Love Me Tender. Again, another amazing episode. Donald and Douglas are my favorite characters, and it's honestly shocking to see that it took them over 13 seasons to get their own episodes, but I'm glad they have them, or I'm glad they got a little bit of focus this era, even though their next episode was not very good. The biggest criticism that I see with this episode is that both Donald and Douglas argue when they shouldn't. I honestly don't care one bit. I know they're very close with each other, and they teamed up to escape from Scotland, but it's really unrealistic for your brother or sister to get along with you all the time. And they only argue with each other for barely half of the episode. The second half is completely dedicated to Donald looking for Douglas because he's worried about him. Nobody told him, oh, you should go and find Douglas because it's the right thing to do. As soon as he heard Douglas went missing, he went straight away to find him because he really cares about him. That's really, really passionate, or really, really emotional? No, it's really sweet. That's the word. And the same thing happens in Twin Trouble with Douglas, so whatever. But yeah, I love almost everything about this episode. The music is fantastic. The lighting and the snow animation look really, really pretty. And the emotional bits are really, really heart-wrenching. No Thomas episode has made me almost cry like this one. It's the first time I saw it back in 2016, I almost started crying. And I was like 12 when this came out, so I was like, oh man. I was like, oh, I'm not going to cry during a movie or a TV show, but I almost cried during this. But yeah, it's absolutely wonderful, and I love it with all my heart. So another 10 out of 10. And if you're interested in Thomas Twin Railway remakes, go check out the remake that I did of this back in December. I also did a remake of The Railcar and the Coaches back in 2020. Spoiler alert, it's not very good. But yeah, this DVD is fan-friggin-tastic. There is not a single bad episode on it. it's one of the best best releases since the model series, and it has some of the best episodes from season 20, and really some of the best episodes of the entire show since like 1999 or something. Yeah. I'm gonna reorder the episodes really quickly. In terms of like when they came out during the show, they're kind of messed up, but we got Letters of Santa, Love Me Tender, The Rail Car and the Coaches, The Christmas Coffee Pot, and Over the Hill. A little interesting fact. Apparently, The Christmas Coffee Pot and Over the Hill were created exclusively for this DVD. I kind of find that a bit strange because it's just strange to me. I don't know why they would make episodes just for a DVD and not broadcast them with this season. They would go to be broadcast with season 21. Apparently these episodes are supposed to be a part of season 21. I don't really buy that though, because that just doesn't really make any sense, and the animation is actually quite different, so whatever, man. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say here. This is, again, a great release. Hope you all have this one, and if you don't have it, go get it. It's a great release. Alrighty, so I think that's everything for today. A little minor thing. This is the last one? Is this? Nope, I don't know. I think this is one of the last DVDs to have the season 13 through 18 roll call song or intro. In, let's see, Christmas on Sodor? Yeah, they changed it to the season 19 one, which is infinitely better, but I don't know why it took them so long. But anyways, that's all for this episode here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We are down to the wire here. We got 3 more episodes here, and then, it's the next one, I believe. I believe Ultimate Friendship Adventures is the last one to have the old intro, and I believe with Extraordinary Engines, that's the one that has the updated theme song. I don't know. I haven't looked at the wiki, but yeah. We're almost done here, so I'm getting a little upset. Like I've been saying these past few episodes, but it's been a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the series. So I'm going to stop rambling here. Thank you guys again so much for watching. And if you're in an area where there has been a lot of ice hitting, please stay safe. If you don't know, I live in Michigan, and we got hit really, really hard. It was extremely icy this morning while I was walking to school, so I almost died, but thankfully I didn't. Anyways, stay safe out there. Hope you all have a great weekend. Hope you all had a great week, and I will see you later. Bye.